of the mother. And so the child that comes is essentially an identical twin. And so you think about this.
Radio off.
Radio off. This is a reminder. Dinner party with friends at 5 tonight. Shall I place a grocery order?
Yes, thank you, Sasha. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Very interesting premise. It just led to some very interesting conversations between the characters in this film. They're very unlikable, a lot of these characters, because they're treating their clones as subhuman. One of them even says they're not human, they're clones, when you can see that's clearly not true, as our main character, Richie, is fooling them all, as acting as his human counterpart, even though they're both humans. But I thought that was really interesting to hear from them, and instantly dislike pretty much every character in this except for Richie himself. There's some twists and turns in this film. You know, the reveal, of course, that Richie is not who he's pretending to be. I loved that we have that foreshadowing in this film that Richie knows Alex better than Alex knows Richie. He's spent his whole life studying him, and so he knows his every move. He can calculate what he's going to do next. And of course, that comes into play at the very end. But yeah, I loved the world building in this and the explanation as to what's happening. Seeing how each person has dealt with their clone, and how they're used. It's just very interesting to see a little exploration into the human condition here, that I thought was fun to watch and interesting to listen to those conversations and see where everything plays out. But yeah, I could definitely see this sort of film turning into a feature and hearing more about how these clones possibly rise up, how they make the best out of their situation.
I thought this was so fascinating, and it's such an interesting concept, and it's such an interesting idea of what makes a human, what qualifies you for certain rights like freedom and autonomy over your body, things like that, and the freedom of choice, like what is the deciding factor. And I think that more and more we're going to see more films in this kind of sci-fi realm that have to do with clones, that have to do with AI, as technology advances, as medical science advances, as all of these different areas and industries advance more and more. I think that the more films we see about this are really actually beneficial, because I think that with the way that everything is trending, with the way that technology is trending, with the way that these advancements are going, I think that these kind of conversations might eventually actually be very serious conversations. So I like that films bring them up. I think that they're a great thought experiment. I think that it's, like I said, something we should be talking about. I loved this film. I thought it was really intriguing.
It kind of had this Detroit Become Human vibe for me, and I loved that video game. I thought it was really good. I loved the acting in this. I thought everybody did a sensational job. The cinematography was so good. The story was well crafted. And when you got to the twist, very well done. The whole thing was so well done. And the music too was perfectly chosen.
They have an awesome plot, an even better script, perfectly executed with this cast. Just exposing once more and quite smoothly how humans feel the right to abuse everything else. Given the opportunity to do the right thing, we still don't. And it was so ironic and so perfectly combined. I loved how they plant the seed of this revolution that's coming. And yes, now this will be a heartless war, and we will get what we deserve. And it was just beautifully told.
I thought the opening Words were a really great way to establish an otherwise very normal scene, and that worked really well to allow the situation and related emotions and character interactions really build the conflict, along with the music, which overall I thought was very creative. I can definitely see this as a longer form film,